Hello, my name is George McDermott. I'm coming to you here today, joining with all these other groups. I'm sure that all of you have listened to the stories all day long, and each and every story has an interconnecting story that the system is totally broken in this country. Everything that you will find in this building behind me, if you go to the National Visitor Center, and I would advise every person who comes to Washington to go into the National Visitor Center and go through the tour of the People's House. You must remember, this is the People's House. This is not all of the people who work in this house, they are our employees. And they're only supposed to be our employees as long as they obey their constitution of this country and they do their jobs in a manner consistent with their employment contract. Each and every employee in here has to take an oath of office before they take their position as a senator, as a congressman, and that oath of office is I swear to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Unfortunately, that is the big lie of the United States of America. That is the absolute biggest lie anybody will tell you. When these senators and congressmen take office, their number one chore, and media has reported this, is the number one chore of our congressmen and senators. The first thing they do is set up a campaign re-election committee so that they can start from day one shaking down America's corporations, American citizens, and foreign corporations to fund so they can get back into office in the next term. The work of the people of the United States is secondary to their raising funds to get back in office. It's probably not in the majority of them, it's probably nowhere in their vocabulary that they are going to actually work for the people of the United States. A lot of them say, well, hold it, I have to work for my constituents in my county. Wrong. Absolutely wrong. You don't work for the constituents who elected you. Okay? You collected money from people all around the world for your campaign. As a congressman and a senator of the United States of America, and as the President of the United States of America, you represent every living soul on this earth who is an American citizen and all of the interests they have worldwide. So don't, when people from another congressional district come in and ask you for help, say that I'm going to refer you back because you're not my constituent. That is the biggest lie that the people of this country have had told to them in history. We, the people of these United States, need to send a clear and concise message to the people who are sitting in these offices and who are administrating laws that the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights and the 50 titles that have comprised the Constitution of the United States are the law of the land. We have to stop the abuses of the law of the land by criminal judges who do not respect the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And you've heard it repeatedly today from every person who has had the pleasure of standing up on this stage. I am absolutely absolutely appalled at the apathy of the United States people. This event has been on works and advertised for over 1 year. The people who put this event together had support allegedly from across the nation that they were going to be here today. And the audience is nil and non-existent. But you know what? That makes no difference. We have the permit. We have to get a permit to speak to our house. We have to come and beg our legislators to help us get a permit so that we can act to redress our Congress and tell them what the problems are in this country. That's appalling. That's absolutely appalling. Now, I myself, I have a very limited story. I'm out here for Richard Fine, who's a political prisoner who has been falsely accused in the California courts. He's been put in solitary coercive confinement for 14 months, and he's been restricted all of his rights and liberties as the gangster, mafia-controlled American Bar Association and the judicial branch of government keep this man in jail with unsigned orders. I would like to know how many people out here know that the United States Supreme Court and the courts of appeals of this nation, that 99% of your rights are divested with unsigned orders. How many people? Do you realize I've talked to people from India, I've talked to people over here today from India, from Pakistan, from China, from Korea, from Brazil. And they're appalled. They say, at least in our country, you get signed orders. Go down here to the National Archives on 7th and Pennsylvania Avenue. Go in there and ask for 10 cases, any 10 cases over the last 5 years. And they'll bring you boxes out, and those boxes contain at least 5 to 10 more cases in it. So you'll have 70 cases about to look at. And I'll guarantee you that you won't find one signed order in any case, even death penalty cases, which is absolutely shameful. We're putting our citizens in prison. We're divesting them of our rights. We're divesting them of their civil liberties under the Constitution. Oh, by the way, UCC code 108-8. Any order, any document that is unsigned is invalid. That's backed up by the E-Sign Act of 2000. The E-Sign Act of 2000 said that if you're going to do an E-Sign document, which they claim these things are, then you can go to the court and ask for the electronic signature of the judge, which is basically a 15-line computer-generated authenticating document that will back up this unsigned order. You will never get it. You will never get it. Because why? Because our judges in the Supreme Court, Justice Roberts, Justice Ginsburg, Justice Kennedy, and the other ones, they don't have time to do the business of the Supreme Court of the United States. They don't have time. They have too many special interest groups that they have to appear for the American Bar Association. I'm sorry, that's the American Gangster Association. And each one of the people who appeared before us today has been a victim of the American Gangster Association. They've had their families torn apart. They've had their rights torn apart. They've had their children put in dire danger of death. Actually, some of them were murdered.